A lot is for you, a Buddha to be. So you want to be happy. Yes, everyone does. We are all equal. We all have that right. Compassion for all equals happiness. Find meaning in all good and bad as an opportunity to grow. Don't cling but enjoy. Cultivate contentment, gratitude, kindness, tolerance, forgiveness, faith, and discipline. The moon always shines bright once the clouds pass, as you do, as a bodhisattva. Even after the worst storms, the sun will shine again, but learn to also be calm during the storm. Cultivate and practice mindfulness, love, awareness, samadhi, and maintain equanimity. Keep it cool, keep it real, stay chill, which is one of the 7 factors of enlightenment. Finally, smile and send chemical changes to the brain. Okay, and now I type this on my Facebook, so I'm going to have to turn my computer upside down to read it mindfully, which I haven't done before, so there we go. So we can see how our feeling of life satisfaction often depends on who we compare ourselves to. Of course, we compare other things besides income. Constant comparison with those who are smarter, more beautiful, or more successful than ourselves also tends to breed envy, frustration, and unhappiness. But we can use this same principle in a positive way. We can increase our feeling of life satisfaction by comparing ourselves to those who are less fortunate than us and by reflecting on all things that we have. Summarizing, he said, this is the Dalai Lama, as long as there is a lack of the inner discipline that brings calmness of mind, no matter what external faculties or conditions you have, they will never give you the feeling of joy and happiness that you are seeking. On the other hand, if you possess this inner quality, a calmness of mind, a degree of stability within, then even if you lack various external faculties, then you would normally consider necessary for happiness. It is still possible to live a happy and joyful life. Continuing, but without the right mental attitude, without attention to the mental factor, these things have very little impact on a long-term feeling of happiness. For example, if you harbor hateful thoughts or intense anger somewhere deep down within yourself, then it ruins your health. Thus, it destroys one of the factors. Also, if you are mentally unhappy or frustrated, then physical comfort is not of much help. On the other hand, if you can maintain a calm, peaceful state of mind, then you can be a very happy person, even if you have poor health, or even if you have wonderful possessions. When you are in an intense moment of anger or hatred, you feel like throwing them, breaking them. At that moment, your possessions mean nothing. Today there are societies that are very developed materially, yet among them there are many people who are not very happy. Just underneath the beauty surface of affluence, there is a kind of mental unrest, leading to frustration, unnecessary quarrels, reliance on drugs or alcohol, and in the worst case, suicide. So there is no guarantee that wealth alone can give you the joy or fulfillment that you are seeking. The same can be said of your friends too. When you are in an intense state of anger or hatred, even a very close friend appears to you as somehow short, frosty, or cold, distant, and quite annoying. If an earnest person has roused himself, if he is not forgetful, if his deeds are pure, if he acts with consideration, if he restrains himself and lives accordingly to law, then his glory will increase. As a fletcher makes straight his arrow, a wise man makes straight his trembling and unsteady thought, which is difficult to guard, difficult to hold back. It is good to tame the mind, which is difficult to hold in flightly, rushing wherever it listeth. A tamed mind brings happiness, impermanence, recognize. Watching his speech, well restrained in mind, let a man never commit any wrong with his body. Let a man but keep these 3 roads of action clear, and he will achieve the way which is taught by the wise. I vow whenever, if I ever open my mouth, I will do one of the Eightfold Noble Path, which is right speech, right thought, etc. Cherish the road of gratitude, love, and peace. Nirvana has been shown by Sugata Buddha. But he who lives 1,000 years, vicious and unrestrained, a life of one day is better if a man is virtuous and reflective. If a man does what is good, Let him do it again. Let him delight in it. Happiness is the outcome of good. If a man offend a harmless, pure, and innocent person, the evil falls back upon that fool like the light dust thrown up against the wind. To understand everything is to forgive everything. Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Same goes with deeds and actions. Buddha. Inner worth is a category of happiness as well. We have seen how working on our mental outlook is a more effective means of achieving happiness than seeking it through external sources such as wealth, position, or physical health. Another internal source of happiness, closely linked with an inner feeling of contentment, is a sense of self-worth. And this will also go for love and relationships if you want it to last and be honest and pure. Don't confuse happiness with pleasure. Cultivate other qualities as well, understanding and much more. Enjoy, but don't cling to short-term. Just enjoy. Go beyond, whether it be moving, deciding, etc. Ask yourself, will this bring me greater happiness or greater pleasure? So the question for the Dalai Lama laughed heartedly. He wanted to know what I thought of that idea. I answered that from my point of view, the highest happiness is when one reaches the stage of liberation at which there is no more suffering. That's Jini, lasting happiness. True happiness relates more to the mind and heart. Happiness that depends mainly on physical pleasure is unstable. One day it's there, the next day it may not be. So, lust in sexual activities and intimacy is an aversion. Decrease that aversion. There's too much hate in this world, but there's also love, which is what we all need more. Sadly, all the negativity is getting more attention. School shootings, hundreds of kids fighting at schools, all sorts of stuff. So train your kids and family with martial arts and love, and train them properly, keeping them safe but also being humble and disciplined so they don't cause more problems. Easy to do things that are bad and harmful, but difficult to do things that are good and beneficial, sadly. Tame your mind. You want to prove you're hard and tough? Take that challenge. Challenge yourself, own it, and spread the love. Continuation. Mental discipline is very important. The Dalai Lama's approach to achieving happiness. It was absolutely practical and rational. Identify and cultivate positive mental states. Identify and eliminate negative mental states. I know that these Buddhist practices are very helpful to me. However, because of habituation through many previous lifetimes, certain things may arise, like anger or attachment. So now what I do is first learn about the positive value of the practices, and then build up determination, and then try to implement them. At the beginning, the implementation of the positive practices is very small, so the negative influence is still very powerful. However, eventually, as you gradually build up the positive practices, the negative behaviors are automatically diminished. So actually, the practice of Dharma is a constant battle within, replacing previous negative conditioning or habituation with new positive conditioning. Continuing, he said, no matter what activity or practice we are pursuing, there isn't anything that isn't made easier through constant familiarity and training. Through training, we can change, we can transform ourselves. Within Buddhist practice, there are various methods of trying to sustain a calm mind.